Hello and welcome to sim.bc. It is 4:23, so it's almost half past 2 in the afternoon. And yet again, I just woke up. Now, if any of you are watching, you might be thinking, aha, that's because he was out networking yesterday, trying to contribute to his enterprise. No, it's not. We were this close at going out. I would not comment on who it was that didn't want to go, but it was totally not me. Instead, we stayed in and played this resource management simulation system for hours, and I mean hours. We sat from like 5 o'clock until 5 p.m. until 3 a.m. That's how committed we were. And you know, sometimes you get into things that aren't that funny, but you're just going with it because you started it with a friend or something, and it just spirals out of control, and nobody quite knows why you're doing it, but you're just doing it, and it's fun. Well, that's kind of how it was. Plus that we think that this resource management thing is actually pretty funny, since it is what we're actually studying. Now, that was pretty great, but that's why I'm a bit tired today, and I'm a bit cold because it's only like 25 degrees Celsius outside, and I know that's a lot in Swedish standards, but right here in France it's kind of cold. I know, I'm still spoiled with all the heat and stuff. It's the worst tea ever with a ginger and made it bad again. It sucks. Well, never mind. To the matter at hand of what I wanted to discuss. Or actually, before that. The structure is real. Now, first of all, I wanted to say that tomorrow is my 10th video coming out. Yay! And I'm really happy about it. And I thought that I was going to be able to launch my new project at the same time as my 10th video. But both a J and an A, my video is not near being finished. In one way, that's really bad because I wanted to launch it with my 10th vlogging series video. But on the other hand, that means I put more time into the script, and I really want to make it good and make it work, make it funny and entertaining as simultaneously as it is educational and brings in a fresh perspective on the matter that I want to discuss in the video. And I have tried to put more effort into editing. So at the end of this video, you will have the chance to see some of the things I'm going to add in the video. Some of the like getting a feel for what kind of editing will be done. Now, I have seen other YouTubers have clips of themselves presenting a personal presence in the video without them having to show their face, and that's kind of the thing I'm going for. So I will try to make a video edited about the subject matter at hand, and I will just crop in a picture of me, but I didn't know how to make a transparent background, so that's what I spent a good 4 hours of yesterday before we went into the simulation game, and actually an hour after. So I sat from 3 a.m. this morning till 4 a.m. trying to just crop backgrounds out of pictures, which I assume there is a really easy way to do. There's probably a really easy way to do it. I used PowerPoint because, yeah, that's my technical expertise, and my technical skill cap is at that level. So I sat for hours doing just that. Well, anyway, you'll get that in the end to get a feel for the editing presence that I will have in the video. And that also means that I will be able to focus more on the script when I'm reading, and not that I want to have, and not the effort of making a funny face or anything to the camera, because I will have these images being my personal presence in the video. Well, anyway, back to the matter at hand then. Again, let's try it again. This time. The thing that I wanted to talk about today was Jack Gleason again, what he touched upon in his small speech to say. It was more of an interview, but I saw it as a speech since there was a one-way monologue. He didn't really discuss anything with anyone. He just stated things over and over again, which I liked. I think that was a brilliant format. Nothing wrong with that at all. Anyway, he took up, and that was at the Oxford Union, just had to say, and he took up that the idea that you should not just follow someone blindly. For instance, if you find someone who is a really good boss or a really good team leader, for instance, and you want to be like them, often people try to mimic what they're doing because that's how they will achieve this goal. Now, there's nothing wrong in mimicking something that works, putting it to and adapting it to the same context, so putting it in the same context as this leader had. Now, the only bad thing is that many people, first of all, mimic the behavior and try to use this behavior in all contexts. So it doesn't matter if there is like a big team, a small team, a complex team, a simple team, if you're high skilled, low skilled, blue collar, white worker. It doesn't. Some people just don't think about that sort of stuff, and they just copy someone that they think is really great at keeping a management team together, and mimic that, and don't give any thought about the context, which kind of messes things up a good 9 out of 10 times. I mean, it might still work, but it might not be the best course of action to take. Now, the other thing that he mentions is that if you just mimic someone, you might not only mimic the thing that is really good. It was my fuse box making some weird noises. Now, what he talks about is not that you only mimic the things that are good and the things that you want to mimic, but you also mimic their behaviors. That means that if you have, as I said yesterday, simplified someone. So if you have simplified your team leader because you want to have an easier way of relating to your leader, then you might have simplified them in your own mind. You might have simplified them when you talk to other people. That means basically that you have broken down the leader to just show one perspective. So when you talk about this leader, you talk about someone that is good. When you talk about leader B, for instance, another leader, you talk about someone that is bad. You don't necessarily see that one person is good and bad, but mostly good, and the other person is good and bad, but mostly bad. You only break them down to having one being good and one being bad. Now, this is an efficient way of doing things, but it's unrepresentative. So you shouldn't draw conclusions from this kind of behavior. Now, but what people tend to do is that when they see this thing, they have this good leader, they want to mimic the good leader, and they want to do exactly the same thing. Now, the thing is that most of the times you will mimic a bad behavior as well. For instance, they might have unhealthy rituals that they do. I will not go into religion and stuff, even though I so would like to, but I think that is too much of a controversial topic to discuss, at least right now, but might do in the future. I would love to have a stream just answering questions, because I have such a strong opinion on all religions, which might not be a good thing, might not be a bad thing. What? I think it's good. You should have opinions, no matter what. Anyway, if you mimic this bad behavior as well as the good behavior, you might bring something like, okay, for instance, let's take something easy, like smoking. Smoking obviously does not have anything to do with how good of a leader you are. Sure, you can make the argument that if you are a smoker, you will meet people when you smoke, that will be a social thing, and you will connect over the smoke. Now, that might not necessarily be untrue, it might be true, but it's still a bad behavior that you shouldn't mimic, and you should instead try to focus on finding a networking place that is socially acceptable in a manner that is good. Get what I'm saying? Like, for instance, meeting at the gym, meeting at the smoothie bar, instead of taking a ciggy. But anyway, if you then try to mimic this good person's behavior, and you really want to do what they do, and they happen to smoke, chances are that I don't have the statistics, but let's say 4 out of 10 times, 4 out of 20 to be generous. If 4 out of 20 times this person is going to mimic this behavior, it's 4 more smokers of 20 that wouldn't smoke otherwise. So it is important that you don't just follow a leader's good behavior, but that you think as well about what context is this leader leading in, and what unhealthy and unethical and unnecessary behavior or rituals do they have that I don't need to have in order to achieve being a good team leader. That was all for today, and Jack Gleason, leaving his link in the description to his speech with the Oxford Union. It's a really good clip. I think you should watch it. Until next time.